Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us here on our YouTube channel for episode number 877. Well, today we have got a great story of responsibility learned at a young age growing up on a dairy farm. Dairy and a beef cattle farm, actually, in the middle of Missouri. We're going to be speaking with Taylor Whitehead. She's just going into her junior year at Laclede County High School in Conway, Missouri. And you will not believe what it is she is doing for her business all around the country. Phenomenal story. We're going to start it for you right now. Joining me today is Taylor Whitehead, and she is coming to us from Conway, Missouri. And she is, are you just going into your junior year right now at Laclede County High School?
I am.
You are, okay. And Taylor is also serving as an area vice president in her local area there in Missouri, and we're going to be talking all about her dairy production SAE here coming up in just a moment. So Taylor, thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Well, and there was a delay today, and I apologize. So we're doing this interview right now at 4 o'clock Taylor's time. We were supposed to do it at 11 a.m. Taylor's time, but right before our interview, I got a call that my bull was out romancing my neighbor's cow. So I had to deal with that, and we had to push this back. So I appreciate you being flexible.
Not a problem. I have a pretty flexible schedule on the farm, so.
Okay, good. And I'm assuming if you work with cattle, you totally get that. You understand.
Yeah, I do. I completely understood the text.
All right. Well, I actually was able, earlier today, I interviewed one of your classmates. Did you know that I was going to be doing that?
I heard that she was looking for some more interviewees, but I didn't know if she had found anybody yet.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so that was very cool. I spoke with Brianna Thompson. Do you know Brianna?
I do. She's a year younger than me, I think.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. So that was fun, and I learned a little bit about your area, and it's a nice way to kind of compare and contrast because you're working with dairy cattle, and she was working with beef cattle, so we can get both views of the Conway, Missouri area. Oh, very cool. So how's your summer been going?
Pretty good. Pretty busy, but I like it. So.
Yeah, what's been keeping you busy?
I like to spend my time working with show heifers, and I travel a lot. I go to Wisconsin a lot. I went to Illinois last week. I worked for other people at their shows, kind of just where they bring their dairy cows out and get them ready for the week and then bring them to the show ring, and they're placed from best to not as great, given the judge that's in the ring and his opinion. So.
Okay. So you're very involved in dairy shows then?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Now, you mentioned that you're busy there on the farm. Tell us about your farm, where you live.
I'm about 4 miles out of Conway. I am a fourth-generation farmer. We currently have about 115 dairy heifers, primarily Holsteins and a handful of Jerseys. We were milking back in the fall. We've been milking, established in 1890. We sold the milking herd and bred heifers in October due to a farm-related accident. So been primarily focusing on heifers, ensuring that they have a better diet. They get a lot more hand-on care. I've been able to drag out some more show heifers this year since I have more time rather than milking 6 hours a day. So.
Yeah. So the milking, there was a farm-related accident and the milking stopped. You guys just went to specifically raising heifers?
Yeah, my dad was hurt. He slipped off the tractor steps, so he's unable to walk on his right leg now. So we made the decision 48 hours after the accident to sell the cows since we were already short-staffed, and I'm usually not home. I travel a lot, so finding somebody to take both his and mine place at the same time is pretty hard to do. So
yeah, is his injury is that permanent?
No, he needs to have surgery on it, but between being in the field in the summer and it's kind of hard running beef cows because we still have 400 beef cows here. Oh, yeah. And the dairy. Okay. Yeah. So it's pretty hard to find 6 months for him to take off and have surgery. So.
Okay, so you've got the beef cattle as well.
Yeah, we run mama pairs and some bulls and
Okay.
Keeps us busy.
Okay. And now, how long have you been involved in the FFA?
Since high school. You can start in junior high, so I've been in every year. So
Okay.
5 years, I guess.
5 years. So did you start your 7th grade year then?
Yep.
Okay, so you're going into your 5th year then as a junior. And
Yes.
and what brought you in? Why did you want to join?
It's always just a cool activity. There's so many opportunities and scholarships you can get if you're going to college, or if you need a recommendation. It's really easy I've been lined up with so many jobs through the FFA. People see my name if they watch the convention online or whatever. They see my name and that I'm involved in dairy. So I get my name out there as well as the farm. And so I get a lot of opportunity out of it. Everybody that is in the FFA with me loves it, whether they are SAEs, cows, or a garden, or if they can write a paper really well. There's always a place in the FFA for somebody. So
very cool. Well, we always like to acknowledge our FFA advisors on the show. Would you mind just letting everybody know who yours are?
Marianne Keck and Joseph Stratton.
Awesome. Thank you so much for mentioning them. And I'm going to take a quick second here, Taylor, and mention a couple of our sponsors. I'd love to start with Powder River Livestock Handling Equipment. I'm just so proud to have this company as a sponsor. They've been making squeeze chutes, cattle panels, everything you need to work your cattle out here in the West for well over 80 years. And they've been developing this equipment for the cattle we have out here, which are some of the wildest stock you're going to find in the United States. And if their equipment can handle those cattle, well, they can handle yours as well. So please let your local farm and ranch retailer know you'd like to see Powder River Green out in their sales yard. And you can check out everything they've got to offer you over at powderriver.com. And then, of course, Lacrosse Footwear, everybody. Just so proud to have these guys as a sponsor. We wear the Alpha Range boots on our farm every single day of the year. It's the best neoprene-based rubber boot that I have come across in my entire time of wearing this style of rubber boot, and I couldn't be happier with Lacrosse. And I love to bring them up on our FFA episodes because they are so proud to support the FFA by annually sponsoring $25,000 in scholarships and jackets as part of the Give the Gift of Blue program. So please head on down to your local feed supply store, wherever you buy your work clothing, and let them know that you want to buy Lacrosse footwear. And you can find everything that Lacrosse has to offer you over at lacrossefootwear.com. All right, so Taylor, let's talk about your supervised agricultural experience. I have a feeling we already got a hint on what it is, but go ahead.
I take care of the dairy cows. Whenever we were back milking, I would milk morning and night before and after school. Now I just focus primarily on the heifers and making sure they're fed twice a day, making sure nothing is wrong. If they have, pink eye or if one's getting sick, I maintain that. This summer, we've actually been calving in 2-year-olds, which are first calf heifers. So I've been milking them, usually 1 or 2 at a time, and then privately selling them. So I'm raising their calves up from bottles to weaning age, and then I'll put them in with the rest of the heifers. And so,
okay.
And then I travel pretty much coast to coast, north and south, working for other farms on not only their farms, but at shows. And yeah.
So you're on the farm in Missouri, you're doing the job of a herdsman, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you were milking, and you were going milking before and after school, what time were you getting up before school to get everybody milked?
Usually 4:30 or 5. Kind of depends on the task of the day. If there's a sick cow that had to be sorted out, usually that takes another 30 minutes of care. So I plan for that, but usually no later than 5:30.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, I always love to get that in, and for no other reason, I'll play it for my daughter and say, "See, you need to get up earlier." Very good. Very good. Now tell me about this coast-to-coast travel working for other farms. How does this work?
Usually it's pretty easy to get my name out because we've been showing for several years. My dad and grandpa both showed, so they kind of know our last name. But I usually just I'll get a phone call and they'll ask me if I could be there for a certain week at a certain show, and I'll travel, whether it's by plane or I'll drive. And I'll go sometimes to their farm, or I'll go straight to the show and I'll meet them there. They'll have all their cows and heifers there. and I just take care of them throughout the week, feeding, grain, hay, ensuring that they're milking what they should be, milking at the show, and then bagging them according to show schedule so that they're at their fullest and most quality look for the show.
Mm-hmm.
So you just basically just take your herdsman job to another place and for another farm.
Okay. So why are these folks hiring you? Why are they not doing it themselves? Why do they not have somebody on staff already that can do this?
Usually they are there, the owners of the cows are, but sometimes, I mean, it's hard to find staff on farm that you can trust with your cows at any point in time because nobody knows your cows better than you do.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to leave the farm for, I mean, some shows are 3 days, some days are 10-day shows.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to leave the farm for that long is very challenging. So if they can find somebody that they can trust, then they'll hire you and they'll be willing to spend the money for you to take care of your cows.
Interesting. And then what are they hoping to get out of it at the show? What's the benefit to them?
Success. So usually I'm there. I'm usually the night person at some shows. Sometimes I am the day person. Night person, you get to be there usually by yourself and you're continuously feeding hay. So at a show, you're not just putting a round bale in front of 10 cows and they can feed it. You have to hand feed it by yourself. And it's easier to slowly feed a cow and they'll put on more of a fill. So it'll look better for the show and usually that leads to bigger success. So
interesting. And do you do any of the showing while you're there?
Yeah. So for all my shows, I do all the showing. If I work for family members, they'll have me show. Some people will ask you, hey, can you step in the ring for this class when you're not doing a back-to-back class? But I always bring my show whites just in case they need me. So.
Yeah. And so these folks, they're showing their dairy cattle. Are these mostly heifers? Are they showing some bulls too?
So in the dairy industry, we don't show bulls. We just show heifers and milking cows.
Okay, so heifers and milking cows. And then are they trying to sell their progeny, meaning if they win in the sale ring, they're developing recognition for their genetics? Are they trying to sell that genetics and trying to sell heifers and things like that?
Yes, so having a show title, if you bring your heifer to, the state fair or North American International Livestock Exposition and having that first, second place, or even at like World Dairy Expo being 10th out of 40th is a huge thing. Mm-hmm. Then you can put that on their genetics and their pedigree and you're like, wow, she's proven in the show ring.
Okay.
She's going to make great offspring and she's one to buy. Okay. So it definitely raises the price tag.
And then has this slowed down for you this summer because of the coronavirus?
Yeah, in the spring, about 5 or 6 of my shows got canceled. Everything from February to May or June was canceled.
Really? How do you figure out what to charge somebody for this?
It's taken me a couple years to finally figure out a good price. Usually I just kind of think about the week at the end of the day and see, I had 8 milk cows and 7 heifers. They were all, reasonably behaved cows. I was working from 4:30 to 7:30 in the morning. So you kind of figure out your hours and you can pay them per the hour or charge them per the hour. Or you could just figure, $10 per cow per night or $5 per heifer per night. And then you just add it up. And I always add in travel, but.
That is an interesting business. Wow. So what's the furthest you've gone from Missouri to do this?
Probably Texas. I go to Wisconsin and Texas a lot. This year I'll be going out to New York, which is the first for me. Mm-hmm. They're all about 8 to 10 hour drives.
Okay. And you said earlier you'd gone coast to coast. Have you been out to the West Coast to do this?
Yeah, I've been out to California once for I wasn't working there. I just I had a cow out there. I'm in a partnership with some people out there and I just flew out for the show and flew back. So, but I wasn't working it.
Okay. Interesting stuff. So you've got partnerships in cattle around the country?
Yeah, the only partnership I have right now is out in California. We aren't really huge fans of partnerships just because you never know if somebody's going to pull back or, screw up your cow, and it's a huge liability and responsibility thing. But I do have a partnership out in California. Ruan Genetics, they have a huge IVF program. They milk about 10,000 cows.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, here you are. You're just getting ready to start your junior year. It sounds like you're extremely busy. But as you look forward towards the end of high school and the end of FFA, what do you see as next for you?
Either college at Mizzou for ag communications, or my family doesn't know this yet. I've been looking at a school in Canada to go abroad and get my agricultural degree there. Just kind of depends.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Mizzou, I mean, that one makes sense. Tell me about Canada. How did this get on the radar?
I have a couple friends out in Canada that I've met through the Dairy Show Network. A couple of them are going to school in Canada. It's a Ridgetown campus, University of Gulf, and they're getting their agricultural degrees there. So it's definitely sparked me because I've always wanted a dairy farm in Canada. They have a quota there, so prices are stable.
Yeah, interesting. So ag communications. Why ag communications?
I want to advocate for the dairy industry. The dairy farmers need help, and they need somebody that's going to speak on behalf of them. Having your local mayor or governor who's never been on a dairy farm does not speak the same volumes as somebody who has grown up on a dairy farm and knows what they're talking about.
Well, so do you have your eye on being that mayor or that governor?
Not the mayor or the governor, but somebody from the ag position.
Okay. Really interesting. Wow, you have got, I'm blown away by the fact that you're flying around the country and driving around the country to do this business already. You're just, this episode's coming out on the 24th of August, so you're just beginning your junior year of high school, and you're already doing all of this. You're only 2 years older than my daughter, and I cannot imagine her going out and doing all this already. My goodness, I need to...
2 years ago, I was going to the same shows and doing the same thing, but I had my sisters with me then. So
yeah, wow, I need to loosen up. So you're doing all of that. You're serving as an area officer, and you've already got things dialed in terms of what you'd like to do in college. It's pretty amazing. This has to do with how you've grown up and how much responsibility you've had, I would assume, on the farm growing up.
Oh yes. It's kind of funny going to school and seeing kids that have just grown up. They grow up, they get up, right before school, they go to school, they go home, they do their homework, and they go to bed, or they stay up all night and play video games. I've never had that lifestyle. I've always gotten up early, do my chores, go to school, come home, usually try to do homework at school so I don't have to stay up at night and do it. Come home, take care of heifers, milk cows, eat dinner, go to bed early so I can get up early.
Yeah.
That's just... having responsibility helps.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. Well, I'd love to ask you about your thoughts on the agricultural farming type lifestyle. What do you like about it?
I love everything about it. Everything from, I've had to assist with pulling calves out of their mothers, and you just seeing life being born, and then you see that because we artificial inseminate, you're breeding for the next generation, and that's just, I don't know. I love seeing cows develop, and especially getting them ready for the show. I came home from a show in June, and I pulled out 8 show heifers, and watching them develop over the last 3-4 weeks is so crazy what a different diet can do, and, baths and being worked with.
Well, that is great. Well, I can picture it now, Taylor. I'm very impressed. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing this with us today.
You're very welcome.
Well, thank you for being here, everybody. Thank you very much to Taylor Whitehead for coming on the Off-Farm Income Podcast today. And as always, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.